Now, when you ask this question, who are you? Since you have already mentioned that, generally we answer with our limited identity and understanding that, okay, my name is Praveen, I am a man, then what you do, I do this, where are you from? I'm from India. What's your religion? My religion is Hindu. So the identities are based on, your ethnicity, your race, your religion, your profession, right? But if you ask the same question to any religion, any spiritual tradition, those people, they have done some digging. Their answer is, you are that. And this word that is amazing. It comes everywhere. And this is the loose translation of whatever answer they have given in their own language. But the answer is, you are that. And it is very interesting that they have used this term that. Right? So they are not even answering here, but their answer is, you are that. And then they stop. Right? Now it's up to you. You have to figure it out, that what do we really mean by you are that. So if you study further, it's like, okay, I'm not satisfied with this answer. Now I want to study further. I want to understand further. Then they begin from the beginning. Then they say, you are that infinite, absolute, eternal space. It's like, okay, but it does not make any sense. Right? And then something happens. And then what happens is, if you sit with that idea, okay, that if I am that infinite, eternal space, then what is this? That's the very next question. If I am that, then what is this? If we really want to understand that, who is asking this question? If I am that, who is this? Who is asking this question? Where is this question coming from? Which part of you asking that question? I'm specifying. Consciousness. Okay. No answer is right or wrong here. Just say whatever you feel like. Because we are going to do this together.
It's tricky because I have read a lot. And yes, I could understand. Oh yes, the observer, the consciousness. I'm a drop of water, but I'm part of the ocean. Intellectually, okay. Oh yes, it's beautiful thinking that, but have the experience is another thing.
Silpa says, ego asks, consciousness knows. Now, the next slide I'm going to switch. I'm not switching now, but I want to emphasize this. This very next slide, even if I have to put into tangible result of that, because we are, in this capitalistic era, so we have to think like that. The next slide, when we'll open that understanding of that particular thing, help me to earn thousands of dollars. Why I'm putting like that? Because that's what exactly happens when you have the power of knowledge. When you get that knowledge, then what you do, you expand the area, the surface, and that is called luck. If you have to explain luck scientifically, basically what you are doing, you're just expanding the possibilities. Right? Let me switch to the next slide. The whole mind. So when I ask this question, that who is asking this question, that who am I? What is God? Why are we here? What are we doing? I'm asking again, after sharing this picture with you guys. Now try again. Who is asking that question? Okay, let me explain whole mind. So the natural answer is that, okay, my mind is asking that question. But do we really understand what exactly this mind is? How exactly it works? How many parts are there? When you are doing something, which part of that mind is active? Because even in terms of you are not just a student or a teacher or employer or employee or a father or a husband or a wife or a daughter. You yourself have so many roles there, right? So when I'm speaking to my toddler, I cannot be someone in my mind except her father. And whenever I am that someone in my mind except her father, what happens? Ego takes place. what happens? There is a friction between me and her. She's coming and I'm working and she's like, Dada, I want this. And sometimes I get in, let me do it. Right? I'm busy. And when I get angry on her, earlier I used to have guilt. And then I realized, no, I'm not supposed to have guilt. Why? Because I am defending this. I am defending this work. So sometimes that is needed so she knows her boundary. Right? But I also have to understand that to what extent I really want to go there. If I'm doing it for a minute or in that situation where I'm supposed to protect this identity of my profession, that our mind has different parts, our relationship has different roles to play. So if I have to explain the whole mind, this diagram you see, it's based on every spiritual tradition. Right? This is mainly so this is the book Zen Yoga. This is by P.J. Seher. He was German enlightened being. He has written this very interesting book. So he's explaining scientifically everything there. So I have borrowed this idea from him, but the diagram is mine. That your mind has different parts. So when neuroscience says the prefrontal cortex, that is nothing but intellect, and because of that we are different from animals. But then in the middle there is mammal brain, which is limbic system, and then there is memory and reproduction. So the memory and reproduction here, one is intellect, another is emotion, the third one is S for sex. Now sex is not just the biological sex between humans and mammals. Sex is a mechanism, a reproductive mechanism. And when I say reproductive mechanism, basically what it means, if I am drinking coffee every day, and if you want me to stop suddenly, my system will oppose to that. Why? Because now there is a mechanism of doing something regularly. Right? In astrology, that mechanism is actually Rahu. Rahu does not know what is good or bad. Rahu wants to repeat. Rahu wants obsession. Right? So that part is there. But if that part is working just by itself, then we will create havoc. Because we don't know what is right, what is wrong. So intellect jumps in. The intellect says, okay, you need reproduction, but not of this. Something else. Switch. Right? So when we have sharpened intellect, then we can use the reproductive center in a way that it helps in our growth. And then the last one is memory. Now, intellect does not work just by itself. It works based on the memory. Like if I really want to sharpen my intellect, I have to read, I have to experience things. That becomes my memory. And out of that bank of memory, my intellect is working. Right? So like that, generally what is happening? Generally, we are constantly working with these four parts of our mind: intellect, emotion, reproductive, and memory. And neuroscience explains this is prefrontal cortex, this is limbic system, and this is reproductive and memory. So they call it reptile brain. So even when you go with the evolution theory, invoking Darwin here, that is the idea that earlier we were reptile, then we became mammal, and then we became human with the straight spine. Right? So we are constantly evolving. But does it stop here? Does it stop at intellect? So when you are asking this question, who am I? Only you can ask the question. Animal is not asking the question. Mammal is not asking the question. Only you are asking that question. Why? Because you have evolved to the point you can ask this question. Right? And now you have evolved in comparison to those people. They are also human. They think this question is stupid, but you are not concluding that. You think there is something else. When I asked this question to Alejandra, and Alejandra said, I think, and then I said, do you think or you feel? Then she said, no, I feel. So basically where I was taking her, that there is something beyond your intellect which thinks this is what it is, but you are not able to explain others. You are not even able to explain yourself, but you feel like that. That part is intuition. So that is there beneath your the first upper section of your mind. Beneath there is this part. And you can go beyond that paramental, you can go beyond the transcendence. So I have some friends, they go out of body. They do remote viewing.